Carol, if you're watching, this video is for you. Because Carol and I bond about how we fall in love with these products that are absolutely gorgeous but way too expensive for what they are. I will list Carol's channel down below. Coucou mes puces, hello my loves, marhaba habibete. Got all three today. I'm here to talk about incredibly expensive setting powder that is sort of a holy grail, and it pains me to say that because it is so dang expensive. This is the Guerlain Meteorites Voyage compact. So it's the, you know, the Meteorite Perle, the little like pearls, perles, that come in that little container. This is the pressed version of them because Sarah is a klutz and she's not allowed to have things that are going to make a mess, because she finds a way to make a mess out of everything. I'm going to start referring to myself in the third person. So here they are in the pressed version, in this really gorgeous compact. You guys can't see from that far away. You should come closer. Okay, so this is the really gorgeous compact, and then it's super heavy. So you feel like you've sort of gotten your money's worth. Mirror up there, and then I don't know if you can see that either, but it has like the pink and the green and the yellows all mushed in there in a pressed version that is not going to run away from us and fall over the ground. It is what's on my face today. This is 17 hours of wear of makeup, so you're probably not getting the full beautiness effect of it, but I'm going to show it to you close up so you can see it, and then we will zoom back out. So this is one of those products that's it's not like wearing lipstick. It's like, oh, you got a great lipstick on, you go girl. It's one of those products that's a little bit more subtle, so people won't necessarily be able to tell that you're wearing it, but on days when you don't wear it, they might notice a subtle difference, and then when you put it back on, it's like, oh, you look really glowing today, looks like you're having a good skincare day. It's one of those really subtle kinds of products. So I am going to insert a close-up of half of my face. I think it's my right, your left side of my face. I'll do some pointing in the close-up, so it'll be okay. With the powder on, half without, just so you can see that subtle difference. To me, at least, looking in the viewfinder, and I hope it is, sorry, to me looking in my mirror, I hope it's showing up to you guys in that little shot. I could tell a difference. Again, it wasn't like, oh, you're not wearing blush on one side of your face, kind of in your face difference, but it does give that really beautiful, almost photoshopped in real life kind of effect. So I do genuinely really appreciate it and love it. It is one of those, I've been using this guy for 8 months. I don't use it every single day, but I haven't even made a dent in it, so I know that it will last me a good amount of time. So the price tag stings that much less. I didn't give you the price. So on Nordstrom, it's showing up for $175. What I did, they sell Guerlain Drug Mart here, so I saved up a bunch of points, and I bought it for like 40% of the original cost, because I spent all the points I had spent like all year saving on it, so that definitely helped. And if you are in Canada, I would say take advantage of the fact that you can, you know, save up points and use them to help buy the powder. Hola. Okay. It is a finishing powder, and so Hourglass has a bunch of their ambient lighting powders, and the natural question is, well, those ones are a fraction of the cost. How do they compare to this guy? And here's what I'm going to say. So, the friend of mine that I've told you about that came to visit, who doesn't wear too much makeup, I introduced her to the ambient lighting ones by Hourglass because they were just more accessible and at a better price point. And so she's actually gone through 2 of those, and she loves them. She loves them. I borrowed hers while she was here so I could play with it. And what I will say is it gives a very similar effect, but I prefer the Guerlain. I find it to be slightly finer milled, and it will last me just that much, like a smidge longer. You know what, now that I think of it, is actually a really great comparison to how the ambient lighting one compares to the Guerlain one. Do you guys remember I did my MAC versus Chantecaille setting powder review comparison? I'll link that video down below in case you haven't seen it or you need a refresher on where my mind has just gone, because my mind goes to crazy places without asking anyone for permission. Like, I make these strange connections and I think everyone's following me. Anyways, so it's very comparable to that, where like on the surface, looking at the two, they look really close to one another, and they apply and they last almost the same amount of time. But if you wanted to nitpick, the higher end one lasts just a tiny bit longer and is that much smoother to apply. That's the kind of difference, like MAC versus Chantecaille setting powders, is the kind of difference I find between the Guerlain and the Hourglass finishing powders, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? And then I guess the other thing that we can talk about is the difference between a setting powder and a finishing powder. I use a setting powder to physically set concealer or foundation or whatever in place, just something to help make sure everything sticks. And it potentially with something like the Chantecaille one or the MAC Prep and Prime one to add a little bit of luminosity under the eyes. But something like a finishing powder I would use all over the face after everything, after blush, after everything, just to finish everything off, if that makes sense. So it's like a final step. And that's sort of the difference, at least for the way I apply my makeup, between a setting and finishing powder. But we've talked about this before. Makeup is subjective. Makeup is fun. Do what you want with it and have a blast. That is what's important. I think that's all I want to tell you guys about this product. I really, really love it. It stings when you love products that are this pricey, but with this guy, at least it'll last you a decent amount of time. And yeah, let me know if you guys have tried it, if you've tried the loose version, if you've tried the other kinds of versions. And yeah, that's about it for now. Let's do points of positivity and I will be done. My first point of positivity, as weird as this sounds, is the fact that I am wearing pajama bottoms right now. You can't see that I'm wearing pajama bottoms, but I am. I've recently discovered the joys of filming, like, all dressed up top and wearing pajama bottoms on the bottom. I didn't know how to do that before. I was like, well, I gotta be all formal to sit down and film these videos. It's very official. And I'm like, well, but they can't really see your pajama bottoms, so why not be comfortable? Changed my world, people. It just changed my world. It makes me very happy. Sounds silly, but I'm sort of a silly person, so we're gonna leave that aside. My second point of positivity is a really lovely music video from Sam Smith. I told you that I've been getting more into him a couple weeks ago, and I've really been enjoying it. And of course, the name of the video is blanking. I think it's Stay With Me, or Lay With Me. It's very late. It has the actress from who was in Glee, the blonde one who gets pregnant earlier on in the series. But it's, I don't know why, the story itself sort of drives me crazy that they play out, but there's something aesthetically very pleasing about that video. There are some parts that are a little bit more than PG, so if you are young or if you have young ones, that's my word of caution. But I will link it down below. It's just, for some reason, has been very aesthetically pleasing to watch. And yeah, and then my third point of positivity is my sister and I rewatched Without a Paddle the other day, which was one of the great movies we watched in the 90s, and they just don't make movies like that anymore. If you haven't watched it, definitely check it out. I will try to find a trailer and link it down below, but it was one of those really nostalgic moments that brought us both a lot of joy. That is what has made making me smile today. I can speak English. Let me know, as always, what's been making you smile down in that comment section. I want to send you guys tons and tons of love. Thank you so, so much for being here. And as always, I can never leave you without reminding you that life is just too short to wear boring lipstick. Bye, guys.